Hello. Okay, so when we're looking at using emerging tech for creativity, I think in particular of extended reality, XR, and artificial intelligence, AI, obviously. Could we start by just briefly clarifying what we mean by those in relation to creativity?
AI and XR, do you want to start?
Yeah, I can. I think I could talk to maybe the extended reality XR. It's hard to hear a little bit. Extended reality is really the idea of sort of taking our own reality and sort of pushing it beyond just the physical, but also blending those virtual environments and finding a way to sort of this sort of interesting aspect of convergence that's happening. And I think it's really interesting where it's headed. But yeah, it's that really that blending of those two. And do you want to pick up AI or something else?
Yeah, and I like that you said convergence, because to me it's not really about the individual technologies. It is this, kind of convergence. And so look around this room, everyone you know, your kids, your friends, your family, we are the last generation that are going to be even talking about what reality we're in. It's going to be this sort of seamless transition between, AR, XR, and then VR, fully immersed, and back again. And as the technology evolves, we won't need to be thinking about it.
Okay, so why are we so excited right now? What differentiates XR from other, for want of a better phrase, marketing formats? Maybe Christian, that one for you.
Well, I think what's exciting about that is we're able to create incredible worlds that are more than just one thing. Like what I'm really excited about is the ability as working with brands or working with entertainment companies where we can create both physical worlds, like say for example Galaxy's Edge, and at the same time we can create all these other experiences that may live, for example, on Oculus, right? And we have an extension of that universe as a gameplay, but then it kind of relates back to what we're doing in the physical space. Or there's an augmented reality experience on top of that. And I think that, again, it goes back to that convergence. What's really exciting is we're at this moment where I think a lot of it was kind of unachievable for a long time. We weren't quite sure how it was going to work. But now we're starting to see those worlds kind of blend very seamlessly between platform, between reality, virtual reality, gaming, and also just building loyalty, giving fans and ultimately audiences what they're seeking, which is great experiences, right? They're looking to do something and to do it in many ways even with other people. So I think we're at this amazing point in history, and I think there's so much that's still coming.
Yeah, I agree. And I think for brands, the most important thing to think about is what is this next evolution of the relationship between your consumer, and you have to be able to bridge the gap between who is your consumer of today and what is their level of kind of, technology prowess, let's say, and then who is that consumer of the future that you want to draw in, and what are the stories that you can start to tell using this technology, which is really truly endless. And if you approach it from this kind of storytelling, this surprise and delight, this ability to move from physical space to digital overlay to fully immersive and back again, and bringing your customers along on that journey, that's where you want to start to plug in.
Amy, could you elaborate then on how XR specifically can enhance brand experiences? What could it do that perhaps we haven't been able to do previously?
Well, I think we can move from the physical stores, from traditional advertising, and if I wake up tomorrow and I am czar of all things, I would hope that instead of harvesting consumer data and using it to kind of package up, because there's a manipulative component to that we start to look at how we have a one-to-one relationship, a transparent relationship with your customer, and where XR and specifically blockchain and AI can actually enable a direct one-to-one relationship where you can ask nicely for that data. Yeah. And then you can start to offer something. Sure, you can offer crypto or digital, you can pay for it, but that's very 1.0, and that's a lost opportunity in my mind. But you can start to elevate the entire brand experience by maybe giving them early access to a particular design. Maybe there's a co-creation component to this. That's where Web3, the Web3 economy starts to come in. So there's a plethora of great opportunities, but we have to not have an economics first approach and not have this just be an abject money grab.
Christian, you get to work with some brilliant brands, some wonderful brands. What exciting examples have you seen or have you worked on in this space?
Sure. I think recently we opened the Johnny Walker Princes Street project in Edinburgh, and that project combines a bunch of different things that we're talking about. First of all, we're able to invite everybody in on the journey of flavor, which is AI driven, right? We bring people in, of course they opt in, we do it in a very friendly, nice way. But the most important thing was, the challenge that we had was, how do we create a sort of a mass customization at the same time giving everybody this sort of this communal experience. So we were able to use that technology to create a very specific kind of flavor journey. Everyone's flavors, your preferences are different, and we wanted that first liquid to lips moment to be really exciting. But then we bring it to life through storytelling in physical spaces. But even what we're doing next, and what we did during the launch, was then also providing worldwide access in the virtual space and creating at-home experiences and all over. So I think we launched, when we started the project, I think we launched in maybe 20 or 30 different countries. Although we were based in Scotland, we were able to connect that brand out and just amplify it. And the most important thing is the gift, right? Ultimately, it's about, why are we doing this? Well, we're doing it for our audiences, right? I always imagine, like my mom, she's not a big Scotch drinker, but I always imagine, like, what is going to be that first sort of sip that will convince her that this is the right, like, I actually like whiskey. Took her through, and she just had the most amazing experience. So I think there's an opportunity, again, it's so seamless. We're going from AI to physical to virtual and back and forth, and we're extending that relationship, right, through loyalty and rewards. So now it's not just, used to be you visit someplace and that was it. Now it's like, you got to think about that whole journey as this sort of everywhere strategy, and how do you extend it? So that's exciting.
I love that. I think you should trademark the everywhere journey.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. You both actually have both talked about what's quite a lovely paradox, which is it's kind of individualism and personalization, but being able to do that craftily on a slightly mass scale, or at least reach. That seems to be the sweet spot, and maybe that's why brands are so excited right now.
Yeah.
You could argue to an extent that some of these technologies are still emerging, right? Brands are still playing with it a little bit. And some of the technologies haven't quite broken through yet to the mainstream. Could Apple and their Vision Pro, with the announcement a couple of weeks ago, could that be a big shift and really move the needle in that respect, in terms of mainstream?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we were expecting that device announcement as far back as 2018, and then we thought there would be a great synergy if in 2020, as in 2020 Vision, it would be announced. But I think that they have waited. That would have been kind of perfect. That was built in. But they waited because the technology is really challenging.
Yeah.
And what they did that's so difficult is they enabled you to be able to see the world around you. Because VR is, I think it's a great way to collaborate and to be together in a virtual environment, but not everybody wants to be in a headset. And we are certainly going to laugh at photographs of ourselves with bricks on our faces in a decade. So that kind of blending of the real world with the virtual is where I also think there's a sweet spot, and that's what Apple is going to deliver. It's going to be, I believe, enthusiasts, developers with this first iteration, because it's a relatively costly device. But what Apple is brilliant at is understanding how users interact with digital objects in the digital space, in the physical space. Yeah. And then they'll start to bake it into their software development kit, their SDK, so that it becomes kind of normalized across experiences. And I would say by the second and third device and release, it's really going to have mass appeal, I think, for everybody.
You think so, Christian? You want to get your hands on this?
Sure. I think everybody's looking at it, right? There's been examples of, again, like for example, there was a Ghostbusters experience in New York for a while that used, a sort of a headset unit. It was very much a virtual reality, physical XR experience. I think Apple jumping into this with the amount of money and innovation, it's going to be a game changer. Is it going to be there in the first generation? I think it's going to take a lot of kind of work until it really becomes a little bit more of a mass, device that people can use. But there's going to be a lot of experimentation, and we're excited about it. I mean, obviously, we're looking forward to getting our hands in it and developing it out. I think the challenge, though, too, is, we still love communal experiences, right? At the end of the day, as an audience, we're social. We love to be. I mean, just look at the success of Glastonbury or even the Taylor Swift series that's going on. People want to be together, right? We have this pent up. So I think the challenge with anything that you put on your face, I think they're trying to solve is, how do you create that connection between people, right? And I think that's a really interesting thing that they're playing with, is the way that you can see the eyes of somebody. I think that's really one of the barriers, and they're trying to solve for those barriers of just human connection. Because ultimately we want that human connection. So
you talk about the Apple's problem solving there. When brands come to you and they want your experience and your advice to help them create these immersive experiences and interactions, are they sometimes guilty of overthinking what they want from tech and kind of missing the point for their relationship with their audience in the first place? Does that kind of go awry sometimes?
I think that was true very much 2 years ago. I think they're getting more and more educated, and now they're coming at it with the why, right? And that's why I think it's important to have good partners, right? Look at the body of work of the partners you're choosing. Nothing against Roblox, but if everyone's getting put in Roblox, why? Like, is that the audience, right? Is your demographic 9 to 13? So I think they're definitely getting smarter. I think we're going to start to see a second coming. I think it's slowing down now, but I think you can speak to this with your projects.
Yeah, we were talking about this just backstage, and I think there's a couple of things. It all comes back again to what is the purpose and why you're doing it, right? Everything that you do starts with the heart of the audience, and how do you marry that with the heart of the brand, right? So what is the value that you're creating? What's the value of the audiences that you're serving? What's the value, that connection? But ultimately, you have to reward that. You need to make it something that they really, that they really want to experience. I think Walt Disney said, give people what they, give them something that they're going to enjoy. I mean, I think we still have the purpose behind the brand, right? We need to still be thinking through that human-centric lens and so forth. So, I think that brands are going to get a lot tighter on that brief, understanding why they're trying to do things and not just jumping into the technology just for technology's sake. I think there's a pile of bones like this high of people who just are first adopters into technology, and you can't even count those companies. It reminds me of the automobile industry. When it first started, there were I think 120 companies in Detroit, and by the end there were only 3, right? The big 3. So I think that there's going to be a lot of turnover, but it's exciting at the same time.
Amy, I hate to hold you to one of your quotes, but last year when speaking to Forbes, you said that the metaverse is not going anywhere. It's here, right? 12 months on, do you stand by that statement? And what are the key ways that's evolved, that it has evolved?
Yeah, I think that was a headline that was sort of had the double entendre, and I meant it that it's not going away. But it could seem like, I was saying the metaverse is dead. And I will say that people are gleefully sending me metaverse is dead articles, and you know who you are. And it's dead in the way that we approached it. Because again, it was an economics first approach. People are dropping NFTs, trying to make, millions and billions of dollars, and not looking at what an experience first approach would be and a human-centric approach. And the parallel economy opportunity in this metaverse is is based on abundance and not scarcity, right? Because it's an infinite landscape. So again, I see companies pulling back. I don't even like the term metaverse. I like to think of it in terms of a spectrum of reality. And I think I'm hopeful that we will see much better experiences, much more accessible experiences, and things that are open to all and not about exclusivity and scarcity, but really, kind of elevating the creator economy and allowing creativity and an exchange of ideas and goods and services in this virtual landscape.
Thank you. Why is the metaverse so reliant on Web3 tech? Why can't it just exist within what we've already got, within video games, if you like, or within virtual communities that we've already got?
Well, I don't think it does have to rely. I mean, there's this sort of decentralized construct which has a great benefit around that one-to-one relationship. So living on the blockchain, but that requires us as consumers to take control of our data. AI will be there to help us, and there to be a very simple interface for brands or companies to actually query our data and ask us for it, and then give us options, right? And then our AI will help us navigate that and manage it. But we have to do the work, and we have to start by demanding that we get our data back.
Indeed.
Christian, you obviously don't look old enough, but 4 decades BRC has been running, and you've seen technologies come and go.
Yes.
Why is it so exciting right now? Why is it different to what's come before?
Well, I think we've seen, over the last, even beyond just the 4 decades, just a lot of different technologies that come that help us tell stories, that help us connect, that help us with our businesses, right? But it's always dangerous to kind of it's great to be at the leading edge, but at the same time, it's like a double-edged sword. So we see a lot of things that just kind of come and go, right? I think right now, though, it really is the convergence of all these things, right? If you just even look at Apple Vision Pro, just looking at the technical specs, that we can get things at that level of almost nano control, it means that we're blending projectors, and we're blending immersion, and we're blending audio, and we're blending all these things in a way that are just incredible. And we could do them both at an individual scale. We can also do them at a larger scale. For example, if you had a chance to go to ABBA Voyage in London, that's like the whole goal of that experience was to create kind of an XR experience without the headsets. And they created a 40,000K screen that blends all kinds of crazy stuff, theatrics, CG, game engines, all kinds of stuff, right? It's incredible. So I'm excited about what's happening because all of this stuff is coming together in a way that I think is almost seamless. Again, in that everywhere kind of strategy, we're going to start to see all of this stuff kind of flow together, and it won't be this or that, or just in virtual or just in physical. It's actually, I just have a relationship with a brand or a community. And I may do it here on my headset, or I may do it in the physical space, but it's going to be seamless coming forward.
Seamless. And likewise, Amy, happy about where we are right now and excited by what's coming next, right?
I love it all, and I actually love the evolution, but let's have this sort of human-centric approach. I love the everywhere approach, and let's just have fun with the tech.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's have fun. Amy, thank you very much. Christian, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.